In 1867, Andrew Johnson appointed him as the Secretary of War after he controversially fired Edward Stanton. Grant reluctantly took the post, but when Congress shortly thereafter declared that it was unconstitutional for him to have fired Stanton, Johnson encouraged Grant to refuse to leave his post. Grant did not listen to that because he said it would be unconstitutional to do so. So he left his post, making him grow ever more popular as Johnson was losing points with the whole nation. Thus, in the 1868 election, both political parties courted Grant to become a candidate. His family historically had been Whig and then Republican, so he decided to run in the Republican Party, where he was unanimously nominated, and he won by a great margin in the Electoral College and a decent lead in the popular vote as well. He quickly realized that politics were not quite the same thing as war, and that the Battle of Washington, D.C. was perhaps one of the most difficult he'd ever fought. Nevertheless, he was again unanimously nominated by the Republican Party for a second term, which he won by a similar margin. He struggled throughout both of his terms, and he faced a lot of criticism. His administration was frequently accused of corruption and cronyism. As many people said, he was doing favors for his friends. He also was accused of mismanaging many political issues because of his ignorance of politics. Despite that, he did accomplish a lot during his 8 years. He oversaw the passage of the 15th Amendment, which granted all men the right to vote, regardless of color, creed, or religion. He effectively saw the ratification of this act, which officially ended anything to do with the Civil War and brought all of those former Confederate states back into the Union. He pardoned all the former Confederates except around 500 of the highest-ranking officials. He continued the work of Reconstruction, trying to rebuild the country. Of course, that's one of the points where he receives a lot of criticism, like Andrew Johnson, for not being tough enough on the white Southerners and allowing them to continue too much prejudice against the former slaves. He dealt with international affairs as well, as he was able to come to terms with Great Britain over the issue of their supplying warships to the Confederacy, which hindered the Union forces. Economically, he succeeded in removing a lot of the greenbacks from circulation, and this was money which had been printed during the Civil War and was not backed by gold. And in so doing, he was able to raise the gold standard and lower inflation, which is quite an accomplishment.